Secretary Yellen, you were chair of the Federal Reserve in 2016 when FSOC finalized a study examining state and federal banking laws that could have a negative effect on the safety and the soundness of the financial system. One of the recommendations that the Federal Reserve made in that report was to close a loophole known as the Industrial Loan Company, or ILC loophole. The ILC loophole allows commercial companies to operate banks that are not regulated like banks, and it has caused financial stability problems in the past. As the Fed wrote in that report to FSOC, quote, "It must also be noted that the companies that failed or required assistance at the outset of the 2008 financial crisis included a number of companies that owned and controlled ILCs," end quote. So, Secretary Yellen, my question is this. In light of the financial stability risks that we are discussing today, including digital assets, shadow banks, and big tech entering the financial services space, do you still agree with the past recommendation by the Fed to close the ILC loophole?
So this is an issue I haven't looked at recently, but I have no reason to think that my view would change on this. The Fed felt at the time that report was written that there are great dangers in connection with ILCs. We've long been opposed to mixing banking and commerce for reasons I think, if anything, are probably stronger now rather than weaker than they were then. And I continue to believe that it's likely to be appropriate.
Thank you, Secretary. And as I mentioned before, the ILC loophole allows commercial and technology firms like Amazon, Facebook, and Walmart to acquire a full-service FDIC-insured bank. So can you share why it's important to maintain that separation of banking and commerce principle? And please describe what systemic risks can come from allowing non-financial companies, such as tech companies, to enter the banking services space.
So there are a number of reasons why this seems to be dangerous. One reason that the Fed always worried about is that when a commercial company owns a bank, that credit decisions can be influenced by issues other than banking and safety and soundness considerations because of incentives that come from the other part of the business, the commercial part of the business. In addition, this tends to diminish competition and to promote monopoly and market power, and that's probably more important than it ever was before. And if sufficiently large commercial company were to become dominant in the payment system, I think there could certainly be financial stability risks.
Thank you for that, Secretary.